Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Heather and we do super fun, super awesome, super real sewing tutorials. So welcome. I hope you love them. If you don't, I'm sorry in advance, but this is who I am and I really appreciate those of you who come back video and video again. Now I will preface by saying I have some sort of cold thing going on, so my voice is weird, I sound weird, I know. I'm there with you, so thank you. But I didn't want to wait because we are doing such a fun, brand new pattern today, you guys. We are making, drumroll, the Explorer Sling by Hemazing Patterns. And you guys know I make a lot of Hemazing pattern tutorials, and it's because I love them oh so much. And this one is brand new, you guys. And here she is. You ready? Yes! Look at this adorable sling. Okay, so I usually go over features at the end. I am just going to point out some features now because I really want you to stick around and I want you to grab this pattern because it's amazing. Okay, so we've got this awesome flap and we have a front pocket and it's totally three-dimensional, totally finished. And amazing. It's big too, like phone big. Okay, so we've got that. And then our main pocket is a giant. I mean, it is. It's so big. You can fit all your essentials. This is the perfect fall go-to bag. Okay, it is. I promise. Even if you don't choose fall like materials like I did, it is the perfect fall go-to bag. We do some really cool things, like I didn't have a rectangle ring, so I just took out the middle of a slider bar. And yeah, I'll show you what it looks like on when we're all done. I hope you stick around because this brand new pattern, the Explorer Sling by Hemazing Patterns, it's amazing. It's amazing. All right, let's get into our materials.
All right, so for materials today, and again, sorry about my voice. I yelled a little too much last night at a haunted house. Oops. Okay, so we've got our flat pieces, and this is a faux croc from Love Creations. I think this is going to be so cool. I haven't actually sewn with it yet. This is one of the items that's been stashed away here in the studio, so I'm excited about that. We have our 2 cuts of zipper, and then we've got our zipper pulls to go with it. So we've got one decorative for the main zipper and then just a regular antique bronze for the inside zipper. We've got our bag tag, which is custom made from Heartwood and Hide, and this is printed on cork. We have our zipper tab, which is slightly different than in the instructions, and that's because we are using this faux leather or vinyl material, so it's a little thicker, so we're going to do the tab a little different, but the instructions are there to do it as instructed by the pattern designer. We've got our magnetic snaps here and our 2 back pieces, back plates, to install our snap on our flap and front pocket. We have 2 sliders pictured. The pattern calls for 1 slider, 1.5 inch, and 1 rectangle ring, 1.5 inch, but I don't have 1.5 inch rectangle rings, and so what I'll be doing is just I'll be using some pliers to just remove this piece that makes it a slider, and that will give us just a plain rectangle ring. So if you're like me and you didn't have rectangle rings but you have sliders, you can very easily just take away this middle piece that makes it a slider, and then you've got a rectangle ring. So that's what we're going to do with that. We have some double cap rivets here for our strap construction. We are going to use webbing, so we're not going to construct a strap per the instructions, but again, all the instructions are in there to do that and to make a cool double layer strap. I don't do straps typically, I do webbing. So this webbing, I don't remember where it came from. It's been in my stash also, but I'm super excited to use it. It's got these beautiful browns in it, so I think it'll match perfectly. All right, and then we've got our accent pieces here that will be in this Fall Floral from Oh So Pretty Custom Fabric. It's a waterproof canvas. All of our interior pieces are from Wonderground Fabrics. This is also a waterproof canvas, and this is color Rust. And like I said, I will link everything I can below in the description box, so make sure you check that out. So this is for our zipper piece, and then this is our gusset around our front pocket, interior and exterior. These are our front pocket pieces here. So our accent fabric, and then our insides, and then our main bag, made again out of that faux croc from Endo Love for the exterior pieces. And you just want to make sure that you follow the instructions for cutting, because you do have to mirror some of your cuts, and that is important to note, okay? If you cut them all the same, they're going to end up not being able to match up, because this is a shaped bag and it does have different shapes on all the sides. So that's important to note. And then our two interior pieces of our big pocket. And that's all we got going on here today, you guys. So let's head on over to the machine with all of our awesome materials and make up this fun new bag. All right, we are at the machine, which is a Juki TL 2010Q. We're using a Microtex 9014 needle. We're using the tank foot, which I got from Sewful Therapy. And we have Tex 35 weight polyester thread from Waywack, color gingerbread, in our machine. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead and used the pattern pieces to make the slits for the magnet. Let me just grab the other end of the magnet. I did this off camera on purpose because I don't like to show pattern pieces on camera. So we're just going to insert. I like when a pattern designer has it in there for you, so you just have to basically put the measurement, the marking right there, and it's perfect. I also grabbed some scrap Decaville heavy. That will give our snap some structure, and it won't come out through our material. Okay. And then we're just going to put a little piece of tape over the metal studs. We're going to stick with our handy dandy hockey tape. The duct tape is being used currently to hold up my stand. Not ideal. All right, there we go. So now we have half of our snap installation all set. We're going to go ahead and finish putting together our flap while we're here. And so we're putting these right sides together. Just matching up those corners. And we're just going to clip all the way around. All right. So we're going to leave a turn hole here on the straight side. So we'll start here, we'll go all the way around and come back and just leave a little hole for us to turn our flap through. I'm going to grab out the peaking shears too, which have not been my friend lately, but we'll see. We'll see if they get a little bit better. And I am back stitching when I start and stop. go. And so we're just going to cut our corners that will allow them to really poke through, so close to the stitching but not through it. And let's see if we can get our peeking shears to work for us. This is just a way to trim down the seam allowance around a curve so that the fabric will lay really nicely inside. So once we turn it, basically it'll turn nicely. And if you don't have these, that's totally fine. You can trim down the seam allowance. You can put little triangle slits. As you can see, even if you do have them and they're not working great, it's, you know, it's what it is. It's either me or these, you guys, or both. All right, almost there. Come this far. We're gonna finish it out. You can interface also. I'm just super mindful of bulk on my machine, and so I keep that in mind when I make choices. And we are using a vinyl here and a waterproof canvas, so we get a lot going on. All right, so we're just going to reach in that turn hole and turn our flap. And we're just going to take our time and make sure we go all the way around, get everything pushed out nicely. We're going to do a top stitch on this all the way, so we want to make sure that we poke everything out. A nice curve going on our flap and all that good stuff. I will clip it too. Okay, so we're going to do a little more work on this. Just going to take something round. Something smaller. Just want to get this corner poked out. You don't want it to be bulky when we're sewing. Same thing over here. All right, let's go ahead and just put some clips in once we get ourselves in there and we feel confident that we're all pushed out. I'm a big fan of this faux croc design that we have going on. It's so cute. And like I said, we're just kind of getting in there. We're pushing all the edges out. That way our top stitch is nice and straight and right at the corners. This will be on the front of the bag, so it is going to be seen. And it is one of the reasons we went with a gingerbread color thread so that it matched well. It's always a trick of mine. Make sure you use thread that matches, and if you struggle with top stitching straight or anything like that, it's going to be a lot easier for you.
so this is where our turn hole is, and we just want to sort of pop that out. It will fold in on itself. Like I said, we're going to top stitch all the way around. We're going to take our time on these bulkier corners to make sure we don't skip any stitches. All right. So we'll start under here because this part is going to be the least seen. And a top stitch is just a 1/8 inch away from the edge. And I'm just taking my time on these corners, or these rounded edges, so that we try to stay as in line as possible. All right, there we go. Top stitched, and our flap is going to be set to the side for the time being until we need to attach it to our bag. The one other thing that we need to do is attach the other side of our snap, and I have put the holes already for this as well. These are in the pattern also. Again, love that. I'm not big on measuring, so anytime a pattern designer puts the little picture of the snap and says like place snap here, I'm like, yes, I will do that. Thank you. All right, and same thing, we're just going to take a little bit of hockey tape. We can get it unrolled. There we go. All right, and right over. So that is good to go. We'll use that in a little bit. First, we need to put together our zipper. And we're taking the smaller zipper at this point. So we're taking the 9 3/4 inch cut of zipper. We're going to leave the pull off for now. But here is where we're going to use that basic pull. Okay, we're going to take our exterior fabric. We're going to place that right side down. And then we're going to take our interior, our lining, and we're going to keep that right side up, and we're going to take the wrong side of our zipper and put that right down on there. And this is how we're making our zipper sandwich. Okay. We'll go ahead and sew this on. You could baste first, or you can just go ahead and sew the whole thing, and we're just going to go ahead and sew the whole thing. All right, and now we're going to top stitch. And we're just going to clip our fabric together so that it stays sort of down and out of the way. You can iron it if you're using fabric that you can iron, or just finger pressing will suffice as well. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and do a nice little top stitch here. Okay, and now we're going to turn and go all the way down and then across and back up again. And that will secure all of our pieces together. And then back up this side here. Okay. That is done. All right, so we want to put our zipper pull on from this end down here, and it is important that you do it at this step because we're about to attach the gusset, and then we won't be able to attach a zipper pull. So now is the time. You could have done it before also. Just make sure you do it before you close your zipper, okay? All right, now let's get our gusset pieces.
here. I'm just going to seal up our zipper tape. All right, so we have our exterior and our interior, or a lining piece of our gusset. And this is what we are going to be attaching to our zipper. Whew. Sorry guys, I have a little bit of a cold going on, so that is not fun. All right. So with our zipper panel right side up, we're going to take our exterior gusset and place that right side down. So right sides together. Okay. And then we're going to take our lining gusset and we're going to put that right side with the right side of our interior. Like so. Okay. We're going to go ahead and sew this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. And then before we do any top stitching or anything like that, we're just going to come over to the other end and do exactly the same thing. So attach our exterior to our exterior and our interior to our interior. All right, and same seam allowance here on this side. We're just being mindful as we go over the zipper teeth here. Always taking our time. All right, here we go. And so now what we want to do is just top stitch the gusset pieces on both sides. So we're just pulling those away. And again, a top stitch is just that 1/8 inch away from the edge. Just going to take our time once again over our teeth. Same thing over here. Perfect. Okay. Now we need to just
go ahead and just getting it. We want to attach our exterior and interior together on this gusset piece because it'll make it a lot easier for us when we go to put everything together if they all match up. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna baste these together. Okay, so that's one side. We're going to do the same thing down the other side. All right, and that just, again, it just keeps everything in one place, and that's really what we need to be successful. Now, we do want to find the center of our zipper. And so I'm just matching up where the gussets come together to find that center. And I'm just going to make a mark with the chalk. Okay. And then we want to find the center of this panel as well. On the straight side. And there we go. And we want to match those up. Okay, so we're putting our zipper right sides together. So right now we're looking at the wrong side of the zipper panel piece and the gusset. And that's what we want. We want the right side to be clipped to the right side of the front pocket. Now this is an intermediate pattern, and it's mostly intermediate because of the curve work on here, so definitely something to be mindful of. We're going to clip for now, but we might have to come back in and change it, and if we do, that's okay. And we're going to come up here, sort of work through the same things on this curve. So what we're going to have to do is cut some slits into our curves in order to get our gusset to sit correctly. And the reason I wanted to clip it all first was to figure out, do we need to cut into all of our corners? And it looks like yes we do, because obviously right now we don't match up. And that is totally fine. We're going to make some slits into our gusset pieces in all of our corners. These are just about a quarter, a little less than a quarter inch, a little more than 1/8 of an inch slit. This will allow our fabric to really move like we need. Okay. We're going to do the same anywhere there's a corner and anywhere we need our fabric to sort of give us just a little bit extra. And then we will reclip. So what I'm doing right now is just showing you the process of making the clips. I will not make you watch me reclip this though. We're going to clip all the way around this top corner, which should give us plenty of leeway. All right. So now I'm going to reclip based on all of those clippings that we just completed into our gusset, and we'll come back with a better fit. All right, so we're all clipped. We're still off just a little bit here in this corner, but it's much, much better. And I think that's going to be totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to baste this on. I have a screwdriver here to use in case we need it. Just keeping in mind that we want to make sure our zipper pull is out of the way. You can use a stapler here too if you want. I'm just going to stop and sort of move so that I can get this little crick out of right before we're sewing. That's the spot that's really the most important, is right where we're sewing at the moment. You just don't want any pleats in where you're sewing. And this is just a base for now, so does not have to be perfect. We did have to cut a pretty big slit down here, so we're just going to be mindful of that. Again, we're coming back to a corner where we've got slits. Just being mindful of what's right in front of us will help you get through sewing some of these corners. All right. And the hardest part is going to be this bump out pocket. So just keep that in mind. Once we get past this, the rest is, it goes very quickly. So there we go. We're looking pretty good. Unpleated, fab. All right. Feeling good about that. Now what we need to do is attach our lining. And so with this panel, right side up, we're going to take our lining piece and put it right side down. And we're going to clip it in place all the way around our front pocket. All right, we're all clipped. Now here we are going to leave a turn hole on our straight side, the side with the zipper, and a good size one at that. So we're going to start right up here. Now it is important to ensure that you have your zipper pull out of the way of where you're sewing. So just kind of stick it down in where you won't be sewing. And then you do also just want to keep note of sort of your pleats and all of that. And you want to make sure that you push down any fabric so you don't have pleating that you can't see. I would say that's the one downfall of doing pockets like this. You can't see what you're sewing together, and so you just have to be really cautious. And so like I can feel that this is an area that's gonna pleat up, and so I'm just gonna get in here with my screwdriver. I'm gonna try to sort of even out the area that could potentially pleat so that it's workable for us. And really it's just worrying about what's right in front of you. And it's basically around the corners that you're going to get the majority of those areas that really want to pleat up on you because they're thicker and you're bending that gusset really in on itself. And so that's going to be where you want to take a little bit extra time to sort of work that out, and it will pay off in the long run. All right. So before we sort of turn this out, we just want to make sure that we got within our original seam. And it looks like we did. We are just going to chop off some of this excess here. Will help with our bulk when we turn it. Especially around our corners. We're not going to cut anything near where our zipper is though. All right. And now we just want to reach in and turn our pocket. Oh yeah, there we go. Looking good, you guys. So there we go. That's our pocket. Now what we have to do is close our turn hole here, which is done by doing a nice little top stitch right inside. So around here, all the way. We'll create a nice top stitch that will close our zipper pocket panel. And I'm just going to fold this over and clip it. And that should hold it in place. All right, we should be good right there. That will hold us in place. We're just gonna pull our fabric away. And we're going to start at the bottom because you're less likely to see anything at the bottom. So we're just starting the bottom corner here. And again, this is just a top stitch. Nothing crazy. It's just really to close that little turn hole that we have going on. But it gives a nice little accent also. Sorry if it's hard to see. It is hard to see for me as well. So sometimes I just got to get myself in there. So if I get in the way, I apologize. Just turning with the corner. That corner bit is a little bulkier because it has those corner bits in it. Holding that zipper pull out of the way. Again, this space right here, this is what is really going to matter to us because it's what's closing our hole. Okay, hole is closed. Now we don't have to be as cautious. We're once again coming up to a point where I'm going to have to get in the way a little bit. Just these corners. You want to get as close as possible. And this is a sort of tight corner up here. And so I'm just moving slightly as we go, readjusting. Sorry about my head. I'm sure that it's in the way. I know this, but this is where I've got to be at this exact moment. So I will move as soon as I can, I promise. Okay, here we go. I can back it out a little bit now. And so I would just be cautious with what materials you're using. If this was done out of a faux leather or a vinyl or something like that, it would be much more difficult to sew. So just keep that in mind. It would be bulkier, it would be more difficult. So choose your materials here wisely. You can do cool things like add in the flap that's vinyl, or the main panel pieces, which we're going to be getting to here in a second. We're almost done putting together this piece. And we're coming back down to the bottom where we started. So we're going to start to line ourselves back up with where we started. I'm just going to cut away that long thread. There we go, guys. All sewed up. And it should look so good. You can see the top stitch right there on the inside. Everything is lining up. It's looking great. Ready to move to the next step. Just trimming our threads up. All right, and so the next step is just attaching the back part of our pocket. And so to do that, we're going to take our second lining piece of our front pocket, right side up. We're going to take our pocket with the interior side down, and we're just going to match these up. And we're going to go ahead and attach the back panel much like we did the front, and so we might end up just making a couple snips in our gusset to fit, so I won't make you watch, but we are putting the right side in with the right side, and I'm going to just go ahead and work my clips around, work my corners in, and then we'll come back together. All right, all clipped up. We're just going to go ahead and baste around. That way we're ready to put our pocket in to our front panel. Again, we're just basting, so nothing serious here. I did put a few cuts in on this bottom corner, but we were a little wide on this bottom corner for our other panels as well, so that's why I sort of let it be, let it do its thing. However it was flowing, we let it. I'm just going to put a little snip in this corner here so that we can help lie this flat. And then we'll pull it over to the edge. And this is where just you want to worry about where you're sewing at the moment. Make sure that that is flat and where you want it. Almost done the hard part here, you guys. Almost. And it's smooth sailing from there. I think one of the things I like most about the pattern designer here is that we put together the really difficult pieces first. And so like by the time you get through those, you're like feeling really good because you got through it and you know that you're going to be just fine making the rest of the bag. I'm going to throw a couple of relief slits in here as well because I can see that our fabric is just struggling slightly. And we're almost back to where we started here. Perfect. All right, so now, just as an idea, here is what our pocket looks like, right? And it's perfect. Just gonna trim off again here a little of the extra. All right, now we gotta get it lined up here in our front panel piece. All right, so to attach our front pocket, we are basically going to take our main panel front piece and we're going to clip. So we're sort of turning it in on itself in a way. And this is the last piece of what is difficult. So when I say home stretch, I mean home stretch. We're just clipping this all the way around. And so here we've come to a situation where we need to make a few just little relief cuts in our corners so that our pocket will fit nicely. It's looking cute. You can kind of see how that's going to look. And so we're just going to be super, super careful. We're going to make a few teeny clips. In our material, which will just give it a little bit extra wiggle room, basically. We're going to do that all the way around this top corner, and that should be enough. Should be what we need. And then we're just going to reclip everything. All right, I think we're good to go. So here's what we got going on. I know it looks sort of weird because it's like not shaped, but it looks like we're right on where we need to be. So we're gonna go ahead and sew. All right, and we're going to sew with our big pocket facing up, and we're going to sew all the way around. We're just going to take our time around the corners, okay? Start on a straight side because that's going to be a lot easier for us. Get our screwdriver here to keep our material where we want it. Again, you could use scissors here. I mean, not scissors, staples. Don't use scissors here. Just going to open this pocket so that I can sort of reach in there and just manipulate the fabric out of the way. Again, you just want wherever you're sewing to be nice and flat. So this is a bulky bit in our pocket. So it can translate to a bulky bit if you're not careful when you're sewing this on. So just be careful, be mindful, and go nice and slow. Almost there, you guys. Almost there. Corners are definitely the tricky part here, for sure. Just try to make sure you're getting sort of everything out of the way here as good as possible. Almost through our last corner, you guys. Almost through. I can see the finish line. Okay, let's see. See if we did it. We did.
It actually looks fabulous. Oh yeah. This is a good looking front pocket, you guys. Good looking front pocket. All right. Perfect. So we can move on to attaching our flap now, which is also going on the front. And obviously it's going to snap here, and it covers our pocket like so. And so what I'm going to do is flatten her out here. And I just want to mark where the flap should go. I'm going to do that with a chalk pen. Okay, and that just gives me the length. All right, we're gonna disconnect. We don't want to sew it that close to the edge because that's where we're going to put our long zipper. Okay, but we do want to ensure that we know where we want it to start and stop, which is why we use that chalk line. Okay. And we're going to bring out the hockey tape here, because what we need to do to sew on our flap is just go straight down, and that will enable our flap to sort of close over. Okay, so we're going to tape it on. Just to hold it in place. And again, we're sort of using that as a guide for us, right, where we need the flap to go. You know what? I think we're going to scratch the hockey tape. We're going to use double-sided tape here. That's what we're going to do. We'll leave that for now just to hold it in place. But I think we can go double-sided tape and it won't interfere with our needle or anything like that. So we are going to put some double-sided tape right on the edge of our flap. Okay, because we're not going to be sewing right on the edge, so it should not interfere, like I said. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and reline up and we'll just check the fit. We'll make sure that that is going to close. And it looks like it is, right? All right. I'm going to sew it on with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Fingers crossed. Here.
again, just checking that fit. Looks perfect. All right, we're gonna go for it, you guys. So we're just going right above where we have already stitched our pocket together. And we're following that all the way down. Oh, it looks like our thread broke. It's not good, you guys. So let's just take a hot little second break here. See, we started to come undone on something, so something was bothering her. All right, we'll start again. Oh yeah. Definitely not good stitches here, you guys. So we're just gonna cut that away. We'll make it look nicer in a second. All right, let's try that again. We're gonna go back in. Just where our stitches were not bad. And we're gonna pop it back in. And we're just trying to follow along those same sort of stitch marks that we just had. And I'm just making sure we pull everything sort of away here. All right. I think we got it. Yeah, we're sewed on. So whatever the issue was, we resolved it. Just kind of getting some of those loose threads out of our way here. This tape will dissipate, so it's not a huge deal that you can see it. It will go away before we're all done. I'm just going to seal all those threads because there was so many of them. All right, good to go. Now we need to move on to final construction. I know this looks a little wonky right now, but it won't when we're all done. So we're going to take our main zipper, just quickly seal up our ends, and then we're going to put our zipper pull on because we are going to put a tab on this on both sides. And we want to make sure that we have our zipper pull on before we do that. This is so weird, you guys. There's like an extra plate in here. I think it was extra. I don't know. I don't know what's happening today. I don't know. Maybe it was necessary. But it was moving, so whatever it was, we didn't want it in here. All right, our zipper looks good. Looks like it's gonna be okay. I don't know what that piece was, you guys. What is going on? All right, so we're using vinyl for our tabs, and so because of that, we're just really folding these in half and then putting the end of our zipper in. And we're gonna do that on both sides, like I said. And that will close our zipper up very nicely. Okay, and then we'll just top stitch about 1/8 of an inch from this inside edge here. And this is longer than our zipper, and that's totally fine. Just make sure your back stitch lies within where you're going to cut, basically, because we are going to have to trim this down. Just make sure you have your zipper pull on and in place prior to putting your zipper tabs on. Okay. All right, so we'll just do a little trim. All right, main zipper all set now, you guys. One step closer. Now the other thing that we need to do before we sort of put together our panel is just attach our webbing as well. So we have 2 cuts. We have this one smaller cut. Okay. And we are going to, basically, this is pretty thick, so we're just gonna fold over the back side, but I want to, almost like a zipper tab, but for the webbing, just put an end on it so that it seals it. Okay, so we're going to do that because we are going to use rivets to close up our webbing. Because we're using rivets, we can rivet through anything thick, so we're just going to sew this on. Again, same sort of concept as the zipper. It's really just to give it just a little finish. Again, these aren't things that you're gonna see, but it's those sort of extras that can make a difference. Okay. And so this is the end that will attach or fold over our what we made into our rectangle ring, like so. Okay, and we will put rivets here and here. So for now, I'm just going to clip these. I am going to rivet off screen, and then the back will look like that, and it'll be pretty, and we'll be feeling real good about that. All right. And then we don't have to put the other end on our webbing just yet. So before I go off and rivet this in place, I'm just going to sew this on to show you. We are attaching it right here into the center of our top. Again, we have a lot of stuff going on in this front panel, but that's okay. So we're just marking our center. And then we'll take one end of our webbing. This is double-sided, so it doesn't matter. We're just going to line that right up with center, okay? And we're going to baste it on. So the long webbing piece goes at the top. And we do not have to put together our strap just yet. So this piece will just sort of hang out for now. It's going to wait for us to finish the bag. And while we wait, we're just going to roll this up so that it sort of stays out of our way. It is pretty thick. Okay. Just going to leave it like that for now. All right. Now we do have to, I'm going to go ahead and insert the rivets so that we can baste our bottom piece onto our bag. All right. So we're riveted on, and here we want to make sure it does matter front and back. Okay. So we want to ensure that we get this on here so that when it's worn, that's the front side. So we're putting front side down. And we just want to make sure also that we're just far enough away from the bottom that we do not interfere with sewing the bag together. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and baste. All right, all set for now. We're just gonna try to keep everything out of our way, basically. And it's a lot to keep out. All right, we need to find the center of our zipper. Now what we're doing basically is making a big pouch. And so it is about to get super easy, especially compared to what we just did. All right, so once again, we're going to take that chalk and right in here, like so. Okay, just make those nice and good. Let's find the center of our long side where we're going to put our zipper. Not so easy to do because we have a lot of pieces. All right, we're going to go for this as the center, so just a small snip. And we want our zipper to be closed while it's at the top because we don't want everything to fall out of our bag as it's open. So with that said, we want to put our zipper right side down against the right side of our exterior. Okay. And you can see it fits in perfect right next to our webbing, which is what we want. So we're just clipping for now. And you can baste this if you want. We are not going to baste. We are just going to add in our lining at the same time, okay? So we're going to get our lining piece that matches, so long sides to long sides. and we are going to take it, so right side, and we're going to put right sides to right sides. So we're now looking at the wrong side. We do need to just find the center of this. And we're just going to add it into our clips. I am getting so excited to see this bag all put together. And we're going all the way down to the end here. Okay, like so. Now we're not sewing around the corner down here, but we do just want to make sure that it basically stays where we want it, so that's why we've clipped it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sew these together. And we just want to be mindful of our zipper here. Again, there's a lot of things going on, so we just want to make sure we move it out of the way. All right, we're out of the way there. And we're just being mindful of all the layers we have going on here and all the stuff underneath. All right, let's see how that turned out. Oh yeah. That looks so good. All right, we're going to top stitch just between the zipper tab, okay? We're going to do that now before attaching our back panel. We still have to add our bag tag too, which we're going to do on the back side. You can start to see the bag is coming together and it looks so cute. Love when a bag works out. Especially a new one and you're not sure. But I think that's part of what's so exciting about when designers come out with new bags is like, you know what you can do and you don't know what you can't do until you try, and that's what we're doing here. Giving it a try. So here I just want to be really careful and make sure that our layers are pulling apart as we want them to, away from that zipper tape and not bunching up behind it. just gonna move the zipper pull. Again, we're just going zipper tab to zipper tab, so we're almost done. Perfect. Yeah, and that looks great too. So just cutting our threads, trimming down anything that needs to be trimmed. All right, so let's pick a spot, you guys, to put our name plate. We've got this one, and so what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Are we thinking like center? I think, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. So this will be on the back side. So will people see it? No, but they'll still know who made it, and that's what's important. Okay. And so I'm just gonna eyeball it. That looks good to me. And when you put on a bag tag, you're just doing a nice little top stitch. And you could absolutely measure this. But it's not a symmetrical bag, and so if it's not directly correct, it's not actually going to be as noticeable because, like I said, it's not symmetrical, the bag itself. If you had like a rectangle or a circle or whatever, you would definitely want to make sure that you're spot on where you want to be. Perfect. There we go. Looking good. All right. Now we want to attach our back panel. And so here we're just ensuring that everything lines up. Doing a nice little clip. The front of the bag has some weight to it, so it's going to want to pull down. And again, it's just really making sure, right, that you're lined up with your front. Everything sort of makes sense. And then we'll add in our lining panel as well. And so here, once I get this, right? So we had our front panel up. So we took our back panel and we went ahead and put that right side down. So it's right sides together with the front. And we're just sort of doubly making sure that everything matches up where we want it, okay? Then we're taking our inside panel piece, and this is our long edge here. Okay, so now we're looking at the inside, the interior, and we're gonna put our right side down. So it's right sides together on the front and on the inside. And as long as you've got that, you're gonna be good. Good to go. Okay, we're just gonna add into our clips. This is a big, big bag. It is gonna fit so many awesome goodies in here. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and stitch it together the same way as we did the front zipper. Again, we're just being mindful of where we have our zipper pull, right? That's way down here, so we're good for a bit. And we're getting close to that pull, so I'm just going to reach in here and just make sure it's out of the way. We're good to go. And again, we're not coming all the way down, but we are coming just... Okay. There we go. Backside put together. Look at you guys. Oh, so cute. All right, we need to do a top stitch, and then we're putting this bag together. All right, so just make sure everything on your front panel side is out of the way. Okay. Again, we're just doing in between the zipper tabs for our top stitch, okay? And we're doing the same thing. We're just pulling away our material to make sure. Move this out of the way. We're almost to the end. And we're just matching up with the other side here. Perfect. Oh, are you guys getting excited? I'm so excited. All right. Trimmed our threads. Excuse me. So now we are putting right sides together. So we're finishing this much like we would a pouch, okay? So we're going to take our lining pieces and clip. We're going to clip all the way across our lining, and then we're going to clip, and we're clipping these together, right sides together. So we're looking at the wrong sides of everything right now, okay? And we're just going all the way across. We're going to leave a turn hole in our lining, but we're going to clip everything together just to be certain that we're good to go. Now, we do have to make sure that our webbing gets inside of our bag. So we're going to have to sort of rewrap this up. It's a little bulky. That's okay. Right, and so we're coming down the top of our lining. And here we just want to make sure that we are matching our seams, okay? Because that's where our bag will come together, and so that's just an important little marker for us. And we're just continuing our clipping all the way down the exterior side, making sure we push all these goodies out of the way. We don't want to get anything extra caught in our final stitch. So we're using a lot of clippies. We're so close to the end, you guys. I love a bag that takes some time to put together because I just think that gets you sort of in the zone, you're focused on one thing, and you really, really want to see it through to the end. And so when we're stitching, we're just going to be really careful to make sure that everything stays pushed out of our way. We don't want to accidentally get the pocket in here or anything like that. All right, almost. Here we are. Clipped together. All right, you guys. Can you see that? Do we keep moving? We're moving. I don't know how that's happening. Okay, I do. I have my phone plugged in because it died. So we're gonna leave a turn hole here on this side. It's nice and big, so we can just pull in and get our bag turned the right way. All right, here we go. And we're sewing together the lining and the exterior here. And here we're just following all the way to where our seams come together, okay? And so that's up here. And now we're pivoting down. I'll grab my screwdriver just to hold everything in place as we go. Keeping an eye on any bulk that seems like it's weird, that we shouldn't be sewing over. Sort of pulling down this front panel at the same time, because it is bulkier, it wants to pull up. Okay, now we're heading around a corner. And we're actually doing pretty good here, guys. Again, it's not super bulky or anything like that. Did the hard work already. Almost past the bulky bits. I'm gonna accidentally sew something that we don't want to sew parts. All right. And here we're coming to where everything sort of comes together, so we're just going to be really mindful of that and pivot. All right, and that will be our turn hole. I think we got it. I'm so excited. Just checking our stitching, making sure we're good to go. You can definitely put a second stitch in your vinyl pieces if you wish. Sort of up to you. I'm going to trim down the seam allowances, especially on the lining here. Anywhere that there's like really bulky bits, because we want it to fit nicely. And trim around the corners. Actually, I'm going to see if we can get our peeking shears to work for that. I'm not going to trim where the webbing is. Let's see. Let us see. Like just a small corner, like just a little. Work for me just a little. Maybe they need oil. Can you oil peeking shears? Does anybody know the answer to that? All right, well, that's better than nothing. Sure. It's better than nothing. Oh, I'm just so excited. All right, let's see it. Let's do it. Let's see what we're working with here. So I'm just reaching in, opening up that zipper. I'm going to pull this bottom corner out first because it's the farthest away. And just gently work it all out. Funny because I always get so worried, like, are my bags gonna last in the wild? But it's like, if anyone saw what I did to them when I turned them out, they would not wonder that question. All right, let's see. So we're just putting our hand in there and sort of getting everything out where it needs to be. Looking really good. Just gonna get in and poke out those holes, not holes, corners. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys, so stinking cute. All right. We need to close up our turn hole and we need to finish our strap. And we'll finish our strap together over at the finished table. Okay. So that's our long bit. Just going to make sure that we get in and poke out all of our corners really well first before we sew up. This one needs a little poke up here. Just a little one. Okay. All right, everything else looks great. I'm so pumped. All right, so now we're gonna close up our turn hole. And this is so easy. Ready? We're just popping, you just pop your fingers in, boop, boop, like that. Folds over on itself. And then you can clip it. And that's what we're sewing together. Oop. Make sure you push everything out first, so that when you get it back in your bag, it's the right shape. All right, let's close this up, and I'm so excited. I love these colors, very fall. All right, here we go. And we're just doing 1/8 of an inch away from the edge here. That's how you close up a turn hole. We'll cut the threads. Let's push this in. It is so cute. All right, let's go. Let's go finish her. All right, so we have our strap, and this is the back side of our bag, okay? And what I've done is I've gone ahead and put the slider on, all right? And I've done the end like we did the other side. And so what we have to do now is with our slider up on this side, we have to take our strap, feed it through the rectangle ring, okay? And then we need to feed it back up through our slider. So we need to make some space in there. And we're gonna go up through one side. Again, we're making some space. And we're gonna come back down through the opposite side. It's hard to show. And our little extra piece on the end makes it a little more difficult. All right. I need to move this away from the rectangle ring a little bit. There we go. So now we've got this, and we need to attach this webbing piece to itself. All right. So we're not messing with the top part at all, but we are attaching this piece to itself here underneath. All right, so this underneath came up and over, and now we're attaching it back to ourselves. And we've got some clippies here. I'm going to switch out our rivet die to punch holes. Okay. And this is the Cam Snaps rivet press. All right, now we just want to punch a couple of holes in our webbing so that we can insert. And we just eyeballed, okay? We did not measure how far we were going. Did a little eyeball. Just make sure you only go through the layers that you want to go through. All right, holes are punched, and now we want to get our rivets in, like so. Okay, and we'll come around to the back, and we're just going to pop our caps on and hold it in place while we switch our hole cutting die to rivet setting die. And then we'll take a look at this bag, all finished with a working, fun strap. All right, and then we just pop it in the double cap, so there's no right or wrong way. Some pressure, and that's it. That's all she wrote. All right, let's take a look at her. All right, so we just finished our strap. And let's take a look. A sweater is not the best sweater for a bag. But look, it is literally, like, look, perfect. We go in here, we get our goody goodies, right? That's our big three-dimensional pocket, and that's what makes this an intermediate bag pattern, is that bump out pocket, and then you've got your other pocket, your big pocket here. Let's fix the hair situation. We use this beautiful 1.5 inch webbing, and we added some little details of our faux leather here at the end. I like the long strap. It allows for just the bag to sit like really cool. Nothing's pulling on it or anything like that. This pattern designer, she gives you everything you need to be successful. You saw I had to make several slits into the corners, but look at how perfect everything turned out. It's like she's a master of math. That's what I'm going with, master of math. But I mean, it's huge. It's such a big, cool, and this flap is such a cool, like, it's not necessary, but it's fun and it's beautiful. Now, if you were a beginner and you were wanting to make this bag, I would say take your time, don't get frustrated. I think it's a really good skill builder if you haven't done anything like this and you're trying to see, like, am I a beginner still or am I an intermediate? Because this is truly an intermediate, it's an intermediate pattern. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. And with some time, like you saw, it took me quite a bit of time. It's totally doable, and you can make something absolutely beautiful. So I hope you'll give it a go. It is brand new, well, depending on when you see this video. But I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for joining me and continuing to join me on my journey as I go through and show you some of these absolutely fabulous designers and patterns. All right, have a great day, and I will see you soon.